Turn on the notification bell so each new message finds you prepared. And of course, if you believe this could help someone else, feel free to share it. Sometimes one single sentence at the right time can change life. Thank you for being here, for listening, for reflecting, for taking steps forward. See you in the next video. And until then, keep walking with intention. Your best version isn't far off. It's in the making. Act with clarity, with consistency, with awareness. And if you choose that path, your appearance will stop being a source of stress and become a tool, a visible projection of your character, a silent reflection of the greatness within you. The world doesn't need more people who look good. It needs more people who look like how they live, with intention, with presence, with purpose. If something in this message stirred something in you, if at any point you felt these words speaking directly to your life, then do something with it. Don't let it slip by. Write in the comments what step you're taking today, no matter how small, because in writing it, you affirm it. And in sharing it, you inspire others. And if you feel this kind of content adds value to your path, subscribe to the channel. Not to grow numbers, but to help build a community of people choosing to live with more purpose, more clarity, and deeper self-respect. When they stumble, they get back up. When doubts creep in, they remind themselves. When they fall, they readjust, but they never walk away. Because they're not playing a game of image enhancement. They are building a life that gives weight to that image. This person inspires. Not through their words, but through their essence. They exude order without stiffness, beauty without ego, strength without shouting. They live in alignment. With integrity. In the moment, they don't live to impress, they live to leave a mark. And that indeed makes an impact, and you can be that person. Not someday, not when you feel ready, today, right here. With what you have, with what you know, with what you're able to do. You don't need more theory. What you need is more decision. The line that separates those who simply hear this message from those who live it can be summed up in one word: action. They don't dress up to impress, but to honor their body, their story, their vision. They do not hide behind excuses, nor do they freeze out of fear, nor rely on their past to justify today. Because they understand that every single day is a fresh chance, a blank slate, and how it's used depends solely on them, not on luck, not on environment, not on mood. It's their choice. This kind of person does not wait for the world's permission to shine. They shine anyway. Even if no one notices, even if no one understands, even if they're told it's unnecessary, because they're not doing it for approval. They're doing it out of self-respect. And because they've uncovered a profound truth. When you respect yourself, the world starts responding differently. Their routine isn't flawless. Their days are not always smooth. But their standards are set. And their commitment is unwavering. And when that commitment is steady, it turns you into someone magnetic. Not because of what you wear, but because of the presence of someone who chose to stop delaying their best self. Today is that day. Today you can be the person who decides, who acts, who begins. Because when you change, everything else starts to shift too. There is something powerful in someone who lives with intention. It shows in the way they walk, in their gaze, in how they enter a room. They don't need to say much. They don't need to seek attention. Their mere presence says, I know who I am, and I know where I'm heading. Such a person isn't born that way. They are built day by day, decision after decision, habit upon habit. They are someone who realizes that their appearance is not a minor detail, but a visible reflection of their inner commitment. What they care for externally mirrors what they nurture within. Guard it, follow through. Because if you don't stand up for your own transformation, no one else will. Surround yourself with decisions that support you, with friendships that uplift you, with places that inspire you, with ideas that elevate you. All of these elements create an environment where change becomes inevitable. Stop telling yourself the same old story of I can't, or this is just how I am, or it's too late. Start telling yourself a new one. Each day, I am getting closer to the person I want to become. If you live by that phrase, it transforms everything because it redefines who you are. And when your identity shifts, your choices follow. You don't need to control every detail. You only need to take charge of your next step. That's the secret. One step, each day, with purpose, with vision, with the belief that your appearance is not a shallow goal, but a visible expression of your invisible dedication. But if you don't take action, all that knowledge fades away. It disappears, and nothing changes. The body doesn't respond to good intentions. It reacts to movement, to repetition, to consistent action. So today, the real question is not what else do I need to learn, but what will I do right now? Maybe it's not something huge. Maybe it's preparing a nutritious meal, organizing your closet, going for a walk, trying a different look. Whatever it is, let it happen. Because when your body is in motion, your mind comes alive. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait to feel like it. Motivation comes after action, not before. Yes, start even with small steps. Just start. Because what feels impossible today can one day become routine. If you have the courage to take the first step, look at your calendar, look at your schedule. Where is the time you've set aside for yourself? Where is the space to care for yourself? Not from vanity, but out of respect. Block that time. When it feels like no one notices, when your environment seems indifferent. That is where character is tested, because caring for your image isn't about impressing others. It's about reinforcing your personal standard. And over time, that becomes your signature. Consistency in self-care isn't rigidity. It's a form of self-love. And adaptation isn't weakness. It's wisdom. The most admired people are those who know who they are, but are not afraid to grow. So today, the decision is twofold. Stay committed and stay open to change, because that combination makes you unstoppable. There comes a point in every journey where words are no longer enough. What truly makes the difference isn't what you know or what you plan or even what you feel, but what you actually do. And that moment is now. You may have heard countless times that taking care of your appearance matters. You may fully grasp the value of time, of habits, of your environment, of balance. Staying informed is also part of your commitment. What new self-care methods are out there? What trends could suit you? What small upgrades can you make without losing your essence? It's not about blindly following trends. It's about staying aware, choosing with intention, refusing to remain frozen in an outdated version of yourself out of fear of change. Because if you don't renew, you dim, and you were not meant to dim. You are meant to radiate clarity, strength, growth. Remaining committed means having a greater purpose. It's not just about aesthetics, it's identity. It's saying to the world every day, my life matters to me. And that creates real magnetism. Not because of what you wear, but because of the energy you carry. The energy of someone who honors themselves, who evolves, who doesn't stay stuck. It also means continuing even when results don't show right away. Taking care of your image is not a one-week project. It is a lifelong promise, a silent vow you make to yourself. I will honor my body, my presence, my energy every day, even if no one sees it, even if no one says anything. You know, some people only take care of themselves when they have a date, a meeting, an event. But your real standard is shown on ordinary days, on dull Mondays, on tiring afternoons. That's where you see if your discipline is occasional or already part of who you are. And here's the invitation. Don't maintain your image only for others. Keep it even when no one is watching, because that defines your level of self-respect. At the same time, be flexible. Image evolves. What worked for you 5 years ago might no longer reflect who you are. Style shifts. The body changes, you change, and that's perfectly fine. Adapting is not betrayal, it is renewal. It's staying yourself in the best way possible for today. Accept, breathe, adjust, and continue. Because balance is not something you find, it is something you train. It's a dance between effort and kindness. And once that balance is achieved, everything begins to flow. Your body appears stronger, your energy steadier, your relationships more sincere. Because the most powerful beauty doesn't come from makeup, from physique, or from clothing. It stems from complete well-being, from knowing that you are building a life that looks good and feels even better. So don't forget yourself, the depths, the invisible. While you care for the outside, tend to the inside as well, because that harmony is noticeable. And in a world that moves so fast, that harmony is a quiet form of success. Real transformation is not about what you do once, but what you do consistently. The key isn't in the initial motivation, but in staying the course. Otherwise, the mask eventually falls. Balance is built through planning and soul. Make time not only for your physical care, but for your emotional well-being too. Space to be alone, to read, to pray, to disconnect from the noise. Because someone who is at peace exudes a different kind of beauty. Not the kind from magazines, but a presence that soothes, that draws people in, that inspires. Do not aim for perfection every single day. Aim to be consistent. Let your outer actions be supported by your inner nourishment. Keep your body active and your mind as well. Let your style express confidence and your heart express gratitude. And something crucial, do not punish yourself for not doing everything perfectly. There will be days of exhaustion, days when routines are broken, days when you look in the mirror and see no progress. That's okay. Do not give up because of it. And to achieve that, you need balance. Because a sculpted body is meaningless if your mind is drained. Radiant skin means little if your emotions are broken. The best outfit is useless if you feel hollow inside. True presence emerges when your body, mind, and soul move in harmony. Many start transforming their image with intensity, but forget one essential thing: rest, joy, stillness, interconnection. Sooner or later, neglect takes its toll. It shows on your face, in your tension, in your gaze. You cannot pretend to feel well. The body speaks. It always speaks. That's why balance is not a luxury, but a strategy. Eating healthy, yes, but also enjoying a craving without guilt. Exercising, yes, but also knowing when to stop, when to listen to your body. Dressing with purpose, yes, but without becoming a prisoner of appearances. What you reflect must be aligned with what you feel. Not through magic, but because your energy changes. You walk differently, speak differently, radiate confidence. That confidence draws respect, opportunities, and new connections. Everything begins within, but it becomes visible on the outside. So next time you look in the mirror, don't search for flaws. Look for signs of growth. Be grateful for what's already improving. Celebrate what you're building, because you are building it, one step at a time. Day after day, with mistakes, yes, but also with courage. Having a positive mindset about your appearance is not vanity, it's self-love, it's emotional intelligence. It's a quiet act of strength that changes how you live, how you work, and how you connect with others. And that, my friend, reshapes your destiny. Taking care of your appearance isn't about obsession. It's not about chasing a flawless image, but about creating a strong, healthy, and genuine version of yourself. And surround yourself with affirmations that uplift, phrases that remind you who you're becoming. Write them down, read them, whisper them as you get dressed. Today I take care of myself because I'm worth it. My presence reflects my commitment. Every detail I improve is an investment in me. Do not underestimate this. Words generate energy. Energy becomes action, and actions lead to results. Also, learn to congratulate yourself. Acknowledge your progress. Tell yourself, I did well today. Many demand a lot of themselves, but few take the time to celebrate. Without celebration, the journey becomes harsh, cold, and dull. Recognize every little achievement. That healthy meal, that walk, that change in how you dress. Nothing is insignificant if it's done consistently. And here's something deeper. When you shift how you perceive yourself, others begin to see you differently. Instead of saying, I don't like my body, try saying, I'm working on making it stronger. Instead of thinking, I have no style, say, I'm learning to express myself through my appearance. Shifting a single word can shift your energy, and that energy influences your actions. Also, stop comparing yourself to others. Every body is unique. Every journey is personal. What you see on social media is a snapshot, not a full life. What you see at the gym is the product of years, not a few weeks. Your only real competition is who you were yesterday. If today you take better care of yourself than you did yesterday, you've already won. Positive thinking isn't naivety, it's a mental strategy. A mind focused on progress becomes stronger, and a strong mind sustains habits, choices, and advancement. You don't need to look flawless. You need to see yourself as a work in progress and appreciate every new brick you lay. And if you choose the right ones, transformation is inevitable. Every real change begins in the mind. You might have the most efficient plan, the most consistent routine, and the most advanced tools. But if your internal dialogue is filled with criticism, guilt, or doubt, you won't move forward. And if you do, it'll feel heavy. Because the way you speak to yourself shapes how you see yourself, how you treat yourself, and how you show up in the world. Many carry a distorted self-image. They look in the mirror and see only flaws. They compare themselves to unrealistic standards. They repeat phrases like, "I wasn't made for that," "I don't have that body," or "at my age, it's pointless." These thoughts, although they seem harmless, quietly sabotage progress. That dialogue must change, urgently. It's not about pretending, nor about seeing yourself as perfect. It's about choosing a perspective that's more empowering, more balanced, and more effective. That's where the secret lies, not in dramatic acts, but in consistency. Quiet discipline consistently outperforms loud motivation. And if you slip one day, don't let that become a reason to fall back. Start again the next day. The goal isn't to be flawless, it's to keep going, because each day matters, every repetition adds up, every small step makes a difference. Remember this, what feels like effort today will become habit tomorrow. What needs willpower now will become instinct later. Your body adjusts, your mind rewires itself. Eventually, taking care of yourself no longer feels like a burden, but becomes your natural way of living. Establish rituals. A morning shower with intention, a hairstyle done with enjoyment, clothes selected with purpose. Not for others, for yourself. To remind yourself daily that you're committed to becoming your best self. Your habits speak louder than your words. One day, almost without realizing it, you have a garden that once only existed in your mind. Make it simple, make it attainable. Don't aim for impossible goals. If you've never exercised before, start with 15 minutes. If you don't have a skincare routine, begin with cleansing and sunscreen. If your clothes don't convince you, pick one outfit and wear it with purpose. It's not about changing everything, it's about starting with something. And most importantly, do it every single day. Not only when you feel like it, not only when you have time, do it because you made yourself a promise, because you know you need it, because each time you do it, you reinforce your identity. The identity of someone who takes care of themselves, who respects themselves, who doesn't wait for miracles, but builds results. Track your habits, keep a list, check them off daily, celebrate the repetition. In your journey to improve your appearance, habits are the foundation. Extraordinary acts aren't necessary. What matters is doing ordinary things with consistency. 10 push-ups when you wake up, a glass of water as soon as you open your eyes, 5 minutes to apply skincare, a 20-minute daily walk, slightly more attention to how you dress. These actions don't scream, they don't make noise, but over time, they build an entirely new version of you. Because the body responds to patterns, not to occasional intensity. You might go hard for a week with self-care and workouts, and then completely drop it. The result? Nothing changes. But if you commit to one small daily habit, your body starts adapting, reacting, evolving. Think of habits as seeds. You plant one each day. At first you see nothing, but if you don't give up, one day, the first sprouts emerge, and then more come, and that's enough. Fill your spaces with visual reminders, a quote on the mirror, a picture of your goal, a progress calendar. Everything adds up, everything pushes you forward. And here's the most important part. Be a positive environment for others too. When someone sees your progress, notices your discipline, your consistency, your improvement, you will inspire. And that inspiration reinforces your own path. Because leading by example is a force that returns magnified. Don't underestimate the impact of your environment. When you choose it with awareness, it becomes your quietest but strongest ally. And when your environment supports you, progress becomes inevitable. Real change doesn't come from big decisions, but from small habits maintained over time. It's easy to be swept up by a moment of emotion, that spark of motivation that hits on a Monday. But true transformation comes from what you repeat consistently, even when no one claps, even when you don't feel like it. The key is not walking alone. Lasting change is much easier to build in community. Seek places that lift you up, a gym that makes you feel welcomed, a store that aligns with your style, a channel that helps you learn better nutrition. Fill your digital environment with content that drives you upward, not distractions. Because what you see every day shapes your thoughts, and your thoughts shape your actions. You also need to shield your energy from toxicity. Negative people, those who criticize without offering anything constructive, who always find flaws, who constantly repeat, "You're not like that." Those phrases, though they seem minor, settle in your mind. And you don't deserve that. You deserve to be surrounded by encouragement, not judgment, by support, not resistance. Create your own support system, your invisible team. Maybe not everyone will understand your transformation, but you do. A corner designated for exercise, a tidy space to get dressed without chaos, a mirror that reflects you clearly. Luxury is not required, but intention is. Every item should serve a purpose to help you move forward. Then comes something even more influential, people. Because if you share your life with those who disregard personal care, downplay effort, or mock progress, you'll end up being pulled down. Not because you lack strength, but because we are social beings. We absorb our surroundings. It happens inevitably. That's why it is essential to connect with individuals who value discipline, self-respect, and ongoing improvement. Not everyone around you will understand your journey. And that's okay. You don't need universal approval, but you do need at least a couple of people who inspire you, challenge you, and support you when your motivation fades. This could be a workout partner, an online community, or a mentor. With fear, but with resolve. With doubt, but with courage. Because on the other side of fear, there's not only a new appearance, there is a new version of you waiting to be revealed. And that version doesn't have to be flawless. It just has to be brave. There's something many overlook when aiming to enhance their image, their environment. You can have the best intentions, a clear plan, and strong motivation. But if your surroundings don't support your change, eventually they will work against it. That's right. Your environment either builds you or holds you back. It either pushes you forward or keeps you stuck. If you truly want to move ahead, you must shape conditions that support your growth. Start by evaluating your physical space. Does your home reflect the kind of person you're becoming? Does your bedroom promote order, rest, and your care routine? Is your wardrobe filled with clothes that no longer align with who you aspire to be? External transformation begins in the smallest details. And over time, that identity becomes your new normal. Don't be hard on yourself for feeling fear. We all experience it. What matters is how you respond. Do you use it as a reason to stand still or as a sign to move with greater purpose? Because fear can stop you or drive you forward, and that choice is entirely yours. What if you make a mistake? What if something you try doesn't suit you? What if progress is slow? Then you learn, you adjust, you take note, and you try again. That's what improvement means, to keep trying until it works. And something powerful happens when you cross that inner barrier. Your self-trust begins to grow. You stop needing approval. You stop needing things to be perfect. You gain freedom. And that freedom is visible, it's palpable, it radiates from you. So if you're standing at the edge of change today, filled with uncertainty, nerves, or insecurity, take the step anyway. Fear is proof you're stepping beyond the familiar. And that's a good thing, because as long as you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always gotten. Discomfort is not the enemy. It is the sign that you're evolving. Fear is not a wall. It is part of the learning curve. And the best thing you can do in the face of fear is to take action. Stop overthinking. Stop waiting for universal approval. Just do something. Experiment, adjust, move forward. Because each step, even a clumsy one, pulls you away from stagnation. And each mistake brings you closer to your true style, strength, and identity. You don't have to expose yourself all at once. You can start small, try a different color, change your hairstyle, speak to someone who inspires you. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. Because every small, consistent change helps form a new identity. It forces you to see yourself from a different perspective. But here's something essential to grasp early on. No one grows without going through uncomfortable moments. No one transforms their body, style, or energy without facing phases of insecurity, clumsiness, or feeling out of place. And that's okay. It is part of the journey. What matters is that you don't let it stop you, because fear doesn't disappear before action. It shrinks during action. Some people avoid the gym because they're afraid of being stared at. Others won't change how they dress because they're scared they won't look good. Some avoid trying new routines because they failed before. And you know what? It's true. People will look at you. Sometimes you will fail. Sometimes you will feel out of place. But what's also true is that every time you try, you become stronger, clearer, more authentic. The more you understand about yourself, your body, and what enhances your potential, the fewer doubts you face. A person with fewer doubts moves with greater certainty. So don't wait to know everything. Learn just enough to take the next step, and take that step. Because without movement, there is no transformation. And curiosity is what fuels movement. If you're listening to this, you've already taken the most crucial step, the desire to know more. Now turn that desire into motion. One of the main barriers to improving your appearance is not a lack of time, money, or knowledge. It is fear of being judged, of making mistakes, of what others might think. It's strange, but many people choose to remain uncomfortable with themselves rather than face the risks of change. Even when change is desired, it still brings discomfort. It requires leaving your comfort zone. It means becoming visible. It helps you eliminate what isn't right for you and uncover what is. That's progress. It's not about being right every time. It's about always moving forward. And if you can, seek guidance. Not so someone does it for you, but so they can teach you to do it better. A nutritionist, a coach, a stylist, a knowledgeable friend. Surround yourself with living knowledge. Don't wait until you feel lost. Learn as you go. Because when you learn, you improve. And when you improve, you shine. Ask yourself questions, search for answers, and apply them with consistency. That's the formula. And it works just as well for building a business as it does for building an image. Because in the end, both are investments. And both yield results that align with the amount of knowledge you apply. Lifelong learning is not merely a tool for professional growth. It is also a path to personal confidence. All it takes is humility to say, I don't know, but I want to learn. And most importantly, to act. Because watching 10 skincare videos is useless if you never buy a cream. Following hundreds of fashion accounts means nothing if you never try a new outfit. Reading about nutrition is pointless if your grocery cart never changes. Learning without action is like planning a trip and never packing your bag. Transformation starts when knowledge turns into action. And that action doesn't need to be drastic. It could be altering your breakfast. It could be taking a daily walk. It could be sorting your closet. It could be buying just one item that upgrades your image. What matters is that it becomes a habit, because your body learns through repetition. So does your mind. Sometimes all you need is to try, even if you're unsure it will work, even if you don't feel ready, because every attempt brings clarity. The real issue isn't a lack of resources, but a lack of seeking, because the knowledge is there, within reach, whether in a book, a video, or a conversation. What's missing is determination. Someone who wants to improve their image must embrace the mindset of a learner, not of a know-it-all, because the expert defends their methods while the learner asks questions. What can I do better in my daily habits? Which foods boost my energy? What clothing highlights my physical strengths? What mistakes am I making without realizing it? These questions have answers, but they only come to those who dare to ask. Many assume that taking care of your appearance is a matter of instinct or taste. But in reality, there's science behind grooming, color, styling, nutrition, and movement. And that science is available in books, in videos, from professionals, and through the experience of others. Because it never returns. Because no amount of willpower can bring it back. Today is a chance to begin again. Go over your schedule, identify energy drains, and replace unproductive habits with actions that elevate you. You don't need to change everything at once. You only need to adjust enough so that your reflection starts to align with your vision. Make your time work for you. Let your day serve your transformation. Let your hours narrate a story of purpose. In the end, what you repeat shapes you. And if you repeat care, mindfulness, and focus, that's what you'll see in yourself. Every step forward begins with learning. And improving your appearance is no exception. No one is born knowing what style suits them, how to care for their skin, which foods are best, or what workout fits their body. These are skills acquired through learning. And it's never been more accessible than it is now. And confidence, my friend, is priceless. And let's talk about rest. It's not only about constant activity, it's also about intentional breaks. Wasting time is not the same as recharging your spirit. A walk outdoors, an evening without screens, a meaningful conversation. All of this is part of self-care too. A weary mind doesn't make wise choices. An exhausted body doesn't radiate vitality. You don't need to become someone obsessed with productivity. You need to become someone aware that each day is a chance to refine your presence, to strengthen your routine, to let go of what weakens you and nurture what pushes you forward. If you organize yourself, time becomes sufficient. If you maintain focus, time becomes productive. If you commit, time turns into an ally. But if you leave it to chance, time becomes a thief. And the worst thing to lose is not money, but time. And suddenly 3 hours are gone. What did you do with them? Did they contribute to your well-being, to your image, to your energy? If the answer is no, then the issue isn't a lack of time, it's a lack of intention. Caring for your body and image doesn't demand endless hours. It only requires meaningful use of time. 15 minutes in the morning to stretch, move, and awaken your body. 20 minutes to prepare a nourishing breakfast. 10 minutes to choose clothes that reflect who you are. Is that excessive? Not at all. But if you don't schedule it, you'll lose it. Time thieves are everywhere. Your phone, the news, other people's opinions, unmanaged fatigue. That's why you must defend your schedule like you defend your health. Create time blocks, not just for work, but for yourself, for investing in your growth, because that's what it is, an investment. Every minute you dedicate to your image builds your confidence, because caring for your body and your style is a way of saying, I take myself seriously. And when you do, the world responds accordingly. Design it, plan it, commit to it, because what remains undefined cannot be achieved. We all have the same clock, 24 hours, not more, not less. But what makes the difference is not the amount of time you have, but how you use it. Some turn it into health, presence, energy, and growth, while others let it vanish in distractions, excuses, and delays. Here's a blunt truth. Your appearance is the visible outcome of how you're managing your unseen time. If your image isn't being taken care of, chances are it's not because you're incapable, but because you're not giving it priority. The day slips away in small, seemingly harmless moments. 10 minutes scrolling social media here, 20 minutes watching TV there, an hour replying to meaningless messages. There's something remarkable about someone moving with direction. It's visible, it's palpable, it radiates, and that has more weight than any polished words. When someone is clear about who they want to become and commits to the journey, their energy transforms, their eyes shift, their posture changes, and the world sees it. Don't fear being seen as ambitious. Having a clear image of yourself is not arrogance, it's healthy aspiration. It reflects the best version you can become. And this doesn't just elevate your self-esteem, it enhances your relationships, expands your opportunities, and improves your outcomes. We live in a world where perception has power. If you don't define how you wish to be seen, the world will define it for you. So today the challenge is straightforward. Clearly define who you want to become physically, not out of external pressure, but from internal respect. Don't just wish to dress better, declare, I will study color matching and pick clothes that flatter my figure and express my values. Do you see the contrast? Ambiguous goals give the illusion of progress, but often lead nowhere. Specific goals force you to take action, to track results, and to make improvements. To sustain that momentum, create rituals. Rituals uphold your goals when motivation fades. Structure your week with time blocks focused on your body, time for exercise, meal prep, and personal care. Don't leave it to chance. When you leave things to chance, disorder takes control. Sometimes all it takes is a notebook and pen to start shaping the body and image you want. Don't wait around for divine inspiration. Sit down and plan with purpose, with timelines and clear intention. When you know where you're heading, every step gains meaning. Even small progress becomes exhilarating. The first step is forming a precise vision of what you want to achieve. How would you like to look in a year? What energy do you wish to project? What kind of style reflects your values, your identity, your essence? Do not be afraid to dream boldly, but dream with detail. What type of physique do you want to build? What habits must you adopt to sustain it? What would your ideal self-care routine look like? What message should your presence convey when you walk into a room? Make it vivid in your mind, because if you cannot see it within, you will never see it on the outside. And now comes the practical side. Transform that vision into tangible goals. Do not say, I want to be healthier. Say, I will work out 4 times a week for 45 minutes. Avoid vague declarations like, I want better skin. Instead, say, I'll commit to a daily skincare routine that includes cleansing and sunscreens. Wow. And self-respect is the most powerful fuel there is. Today is a great day to stop handing off what only you can do, to stop craving external validation and start validating yourself, to stop hiding behind excuses and step forward, because it does not matter how you got to where you are. What matters is how you choose to move forward with more purpose, more clarity, more determination. You do not have to change everything today, but you do have to choose that change starts with you. And it begins right now. The issue is not that people lack goals, but that their goals are so vague that the body cannot comprehend them. They want to be better, feel good, look more presentable. But what does that even mean? Like, the body needs clear, measurable, tangible direction. Without clarity, there can be no commitment, and without commitment, there are no results. If you aim to enhance your appearance, the first step is not buying new clothes, not starting an extreme diet, not mimicking what you see online. You do not have to be flawless. You need to be consistent. You do not have to know everything. You just have to begin. Befriend the mirror, not to seek flaws, but to track your progress. Look at yourself with compassion, but also with honesty. Are you striving to be your best self or just barely getting by? Because doing the bare minimum does not inspire. And you are meant to inspire, to be a model, to influence with your presence before you even speak. There is immense fulfillment in seeing results you brought about through your own actions. Losing weight, gaining muscle, improving your skin, discovering a personal style that reflects who you are. None of this is vanity. It is discipline made visible. It is self-worth in motion. It is character shaped into form. And it is not for others. It is for you. Because when you know you made the effort, that you conquered laziness, that you made the right choices, even when no one was watching, your self-respect rises. Maybe you cannot hire a trainer, but you can walk for 30 minutes. Maybe you lack fashion knowledge, but you can learn, observe, ask questions. The key lies in letting go of the idea that you must wait for the perfect moment, because that moment will never come. Life does not wait. Neither does time, and your body, if you neglect it, will show the signs. Pause for a second. Take a deep look within. What habits do you currently have? Are they building your image or tearing it down? Are you nourishing yourself or poisoning your system? Are you resting or merely fading away? The answers are right there in front of you. And the most empowering truth is that you can change them. Starting today. Every habit that has harmed your appearance began as a choice. And every new habit that improves it also starts with a choice. So make a choice. Choose with purpose. Choose with foresight. Complete responsibility. And when it comes to your appearance, there's no excuse that justifies neglect. because no one else will take on that responsibility for you. No one will wake up and exercise on your behalf. No one will choose the food you place on your plate. No one will decide how you appear when you step out of your home. That responsibility is yours alone. And far from being a burden, it is a privilege. The moment you stop relying on others to motivate you, to push you, or to correct you, that is the moment you reclaim control. Many fall into the trap of constant complaints. I don't have good genetics. I don't know anything about fashion. I can't afford a gym membership. I have no idea where to begin. These are excuses wrapped in logic, yet lacking true commitment, because there is always something within your power. Always. Maybe you cannot change everything overnight, but you can make one better meal choice. The secret isn't in spending more money, but in applying more intention. Because when you look better, you feel better. And when you feel better, your choices improve. That's the sequence. And that sequence shifts your future. Remember, your image isn't just personal. It's a signal to the world. It's what others see before they meet you. And it's what you see before you believe in yourself. So take care of it, strengthen it, develop it. External transformation is the first echo of internal change. And that change begins with one decision. The decision not to let another day go by without taking control. Because when you leave your image to chance, you're also leaving your future to chance. And you weren't born to live randomly. You were born to shine with clarity, presence, and intention. One thing changes everything: taking full responsibility. Not partial, not halfway. Some invest their hours, others waste them. This is where appearance and time management intersect. Did you know that spending just 10 minutes each morning refining your image can positively affect your entire day, your energy, your decisions, even how people treat you? It's not merely about how you look, but how you feel knowing you've put effort into yourself. Self-care builds confidence, and confidence opens pathways. Now, many say, I don't have time for that. Yet there's time to binge watch 3 episodes, scroll endlessly online, or delay meaningful tasks. So the issue isn't time, it's priorities. What you don't prioritize turns into an excuse. And excuses don't build exceptional lives. Here's the invitation. Start observing yourself, not from a place of judgment, but awareness. Ask, am I projecting the best version of myself? What simple improvements can I make this week to enhance my presence? Sometimes it's as basic as ironing your clothes the night before, applying a revitalizing cream, or walking with greater confidence. Maybe the answer isn't out in the world, but right there in the mirror. Look sincerely. Are you truly taking care of your appearance, honestly? Or are you postponing it again? What you neglect begins to wear down. What you don't appreciate starts to fade. It's not about vanity, it's about consistency. It's not ego, it's self-respect. And when someone learns to respect themselves, it radiates without a word. But this isn't about dramatic overnight changes, not at all. It's about steady habits, checking your posture, paying attention to your skin, choosing colors that flatter you, maintaining your hair, your hands, your walk. All of these elements, though silent, narrate your story. The question is, does that story match the person you want to become? And then there's time, that silent asset we all possess but rarely manage wisely. Everyone has 24 hours, but not everyone uses them with the same purpose. It reflects how much you value your time, your body, and your mission. And if that's not clearly defined, others won't see it either. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait until you feel ready. Begin today. Enhancing your appearance isn't about vanity. It's a calculated move, because every well-executed external change triggers a deeper internal transformation. This message isn't meant to make you obsessed with your looks, but to help you recognize their influence. Your image is your introduction. It's your armor. Here's the first essential truth. Your body is your primary introduction. Not your resume, not your words, not your intentions. Your body enters first, speaks first, and is heard first. Were you aware of that? And yet, how often do we forget it? How many mornings begin with rushing, no thought, throwing on the first outfit we see, letting the day push us along without direction? Then we wonder why we lack motivation, why we're not taken seriously, why what we deserve hasn't arrived. Have you ever noticed how some individuals enter a room and instantly draw every gaze without uttering a single word? It's not sorcery, it's purposeful effort. It's the outcome of consistently choosing not to leave their image to chance. Although many overlook it, the way you present yourself speaks louder than your voice, either opening or shutting doors before you get the chance to speak. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people spend more time scrolling through social media than standing in front of a mirror asking themselves, am I presenting my best self? Everyone desires respect, opportunity, and love, yet few question whether their presence matches what they aim to attract. It's not about flawless beauty, it's about the message, your posture, clothing, energy, all of it communicates. The only question is, are you sending the right message? What you see in the mirror isn't just your skin, it's a statement.